Hi, my name is Coco and welcome to your Yin Yoga practice today. So with the Yin practices, if you are new to these practices, we work on finding those deep stretches in the body. So take time and allow the breath to ease into those muscles. We're looking to release that really deep fascia. We are focusing on the hips today, so there'll be a little bit of movement as we focus also on the hamstrings and the lower back as it's all connected. Be kind to yourself. We store a lot of emotion in the hips, so be kind to yourself with your words and your thoughts and enjoy your practice. I'll see you on the mat. So for your Yin practice today, I have a few props here. If you don't have any of these, no worries, you can make these up around the house. So I firstly have a blanket. You might wish to have this for support, padding for your knees, or possibly for your Shavasana if you want to cover up, if it's a little bit chilly. I have a bolster here. You can also create pillows and cushions for any kind of softening that you need. And then I have 2 blocks, anything that sort of resembles this, maybe hardback books. Just to create extra support for your practice today. So we're going to focus on opening up the hips today, as I mentioned. So I'm going to start with our first posture. It's dragon pose. I've got a blanket here just to support my knee. So I'm going to start with my right leg, and I'll give you options as well, and I'll give you options to go deeper also into the practice. So I'm just going to support my left knee. My right foot's going to come forward as we just align the ankle just above the knee and pressing the palms in towards the earth. So this back foot is just untucked, and already we can feel this deep opening here in the hips. I'm going to create a little bit of support. So I'm going to stack my blocks here, or my books, whichever you have, just alongside the inside of that right foot. I have my bolster, pillow or cushion, just as a little bit of support on towards the top. Scuffling in and just scooting that right leg just inside of the bolster. And then allowing the elbows just to soften down. So this already might feel a little bit deep for you. If that's the case, grab some more padding and take maybe another cushion just to layer on. Feeling the sensation here in the right glutes. And with the right glutes, with the left and the right glutes, we feel a bit more space in the back, and it also opens up the hips. Opening up the hips on the left-hand side here, supporting padding for your knee. Elbows onto your bolster. And this might feel enough for you today. If it's a little bit too deep already, just come onto the hands, maybe press the hands in towards your bolster. So we're easing into the muscles here. And with the Yin practices, they take time just to soften into. So taking a moment to feel into your body. You kind of want to go in at about 60, 70% at first. And then as the practice gets deeper, you can go a little bit further. So we'll stay here for about 2 to 3 minutes. Just remembering to come back to your breath at any point if the mind starts to wander. Maybe drawing the sensation away from where we're actually feeling that deep opening. Knowing that you can adjust at any point. Seeing if we can stay with the stillness. We spend so much time moving through life. With these practices, it gives us opportunity to really draw inwards and be still. And creating that space for deep rest. So just a minute, and so also here. If you wish to go a little bit deeper with this posture, you can take some of the props away. So you might want to stay here. Or if you wish, possibly rolling your cushion or your bolster away. Maybe coming down onto your elbows, either onto your blocks or on towards your mat, down towards the earth. And knowing that if you have gone too deep at any point, there is always the option to come back. About half a minute here. Really connection to your breath. And then slowly start to press into the hands, if not already, and start to lift the body. Let's scuffle that right leg out towards the side. Just scoot it around and soften into the hips. So maybe there's a child's pose, or maybe you stay seated as we find a little rebound here. And we're going to come straight to the other side with a different posture as we continue to open out the hips before we find our full rebound. So now coming to face the back of your mat and drawing that left knee forward. So bringing your props with you down towards the bottom of your mat. And now I'm supporting the right knee. So I'm going to draw that left knee in towards the chest and then finding a space for it to just soften down towards the earth, sleeping swan. So my toes are one long edge and my knees towards the other. So finding this space in between the hips. You might find that you're leaning softly to one side. If that's the case, just grab a block or some sort of cushioning and place it underneath your sitting bones on the left side. Good. Couple of options here. And again, options to go deeper. Taking the bolster just inside of the ankle and along the shin and allow the belly just to soften down towards the bolster. Again, you can use the blocks to stack the height if it feels far away. And then belly comes down towards the bolster and just bringing the head to one side. So this blanket might be better underneath the left knee or the right knee. See which feels good for you. If none of these work for your body today, maybe it's pinching in the knees, coming onto your back. And just grounding the feet down, lifting the left knee into the chest, and then hooking the foot on towards that right thigh. Softening out into that left knee with a little bit of pressure. And if you wish to go further, drawing the hands through the middle and the outside, peel the shoulders down and just soften into that left hip. So a couple of options for you there to play with. See which one feels good in your body. Which one works for you today. And remember that each day is different. What happened for you yesterday might not happen today, and that's perfectly okay. Just taking these moments of gratitude for the body itself and the ways that it shows up for us. So we have about 2 to 3 more minutes here, in whichever posture you have decided to take. I'll give you the option to go a little bit deeper. So you might want to stay here for the next 2 minutes. Or possibly if you want to go a little bit deeper, if you're in sleeping swan, maybe a bolster comes away and we take the hands down towards the earth, or maybe stretch the arms out in front. If you're lying on your back, possibly that bent knee extends up towards the sky as the toes extend. Reaching for the calf and bringing the toes a little bit closer towards you. Feeling that opening through the left hip. And again, finding that moment of stillness, of peace, of calm. As I leave you here in silence for the next few minutes, few breaths. And then slowly and softly, wherever you are, start to unfurl. So if you're in sleeping swan, gently, gently press into the hands to rise. And swing the legs just around towards the front of your mat with much ease as possible, little effort. And then come into lie down on your backs. For my folks already on your backs, just release the hands, take the feet down. And finding your rebound position. So maybe the legs extend long. Maybe the feet stay grounded. Maybe the knees are wide if you want to find a further opening. But we want the body now just to come to a state of equilibrium, of rest, that space. After that deep activation. Notice your breath, notice the weight of your body. And then whenever you feel ready, gently draw the knees in towards the chest, giving yourselves just a gentle hug, a little rock from side to side. And then soften over towards one side and with as much ease as possible, press into your top hand and we'll come to rise. Good. So let's take now the same options on to your left side. So we'll start with setting up your props and taking that left foot down towards the ground. And then again, shuffle that right foot back. So you'll already know at this point if you need an extra support with your knee. I'm going to place a blanket just underneath my knee for a little extra padding. Good. So spreading the palms and placing them in towards the center. And then again, let's come to that stacking. Of course, this is optional if you wish. You might want to stay here with the palms spread. We might want to stack some books or blocks just underneath your bolster or your cushions. And just place them just on top like so. Good. And then you can shuffle in towards your bolster. So you can shuffle in as much as needed. Once they're set up, you arrange your body around to where it needs to be. So again, option to stay onto the hands, or maybe we come onto the elbows. And again, if this feels a little bit low and you want to bring it closer to you, create a little bit more padding, more cushions, blankets, whatever you need. But easing into that, not only the left hip, but also the right hip. So got a dual opening here, the inside of the hamstring muscles on the left, the adductor muscles, but also that right hip. Seeing if you can ease and breathe into that and releasing any tension that we might be holding, maybe in the glutes, the shoulders, the jaw. So be here for about another 2 to 3 minutes. Allowing the breath to come and to go. And knowing that in between the silences that I'm still here to support your practice. I'm still here, but just giving you that time to be able to meet yourself in this practice with these moments of silence. And then for the last minute, option to go deeper if you wish. So you can either stay here, or you might feel you've already gone a bit too deep. You can come back onto the hands. If you wish, and you're coming with me, maybe taking a bolster away, or cushions. Option to take elbows towards your bolster, or maybe down towards the earth. Whatever feels right for your body in this moment. Finding that deep stretch where something is happening. And again, seeing if we can release any tension. And then slowly pressing into the hands to rise, if not already. Good. And then just scoot that right hip back, shuffle that foot out towards the side. And take a little softening here. Allow the knees to be wide, toes come together. And just taking any gentle movement here, any softening. If you wish, you might want to stay seated. Taking just a couple of breaths before we come to the other side. Good. And then when you feel ready, bring your props down towards the other side of your mat now. And then taking that right knee into the chest. And then allow again that foot to soften towards the long edge, right knee towards the other edge of the mat. And again, decide whether you want this padding underneath your left knee or underneath your right knee. Yeah, taking the option that was maybe good for you on the other side, but know that each side of the body is different, so what worked on the other side might not work for you on this side. So again, I'm going to take my bolster in towards my body, just lining it up in between my ankle and my calf. And then allow the body to come down, hugging the bolster. And maybe the head comes towards the other side now. And again, just easing into that right hip. Of course, optional if you wish to come to your back, please do. Allow that knee to come in towards the chest and soften out the other knee towards the side. But wherever you are, using the breath to ease you in, to find that deep release in not only the hips, but that dual release in the back, the lumbar spine, and then the hamstrings. Good. About 2 more minutes here. For the last minute or so, if you're on your backs and you wish to extend that heel up towards the sky, placing your hands just up above the calf, peeling the shoulders down. And if you're in sleeping swan, just taking the bolster away if you wish, and you want to go a little bit deeper, taking the hands down towards the head, creating a little pillow. And again, using the breath to ease and soften into those hips, into the lower back, into the hamstrings. Good, just half a minute left. And then when you feel ready, if not already, let's press into the palms and come to rise. If you're on your back, release that leg down, bring both feet down to the earth. If you're with me, just scoot the legs around. And then bringing your body back down towards the earth. And again, finding your rebound posture, whether the legs are extended, or knees are knocked in, or knees are wide, but just finding a space now for the body, just to find a moment of stillness before we come into our last posture, penultimate posture before Ashavasana. And then again, just allow the knees to come into the chest, soften over to one side. And with as much ease and little effort as possible, pressing into the top hand, and let's come to rise. So as we come into our penultimate posture, dragonfly, I'm going to use a bolster, and actually I'm going to use my blocks. So again, just supporting some padding here. So I'm going to have 2 blocks just in front, and then again, a lot of stacking today, stacking the bolsters on top of my blocks. And then just taking the knees wide and the heels wide. So you want to try and focus on having this elongation in the spine. If you find the spine is curving, you can also sit onto a block. So if you find the spine is sort of curving like so, you can either bring the feet in, or you can take your hips up onto a sort of support and then bring the legs wide. Yeah. So finding one of those that work for your body, and then taking your bolster just on top of your blocks, bringing it towards you. And then having the heels as wide as feels comfortable for you. And then let's pad the hands just down towards the bolster. So you might already be really open in the hips, and you might want to pad the hands down straight away. We're only going to stay here for 2 minutes. So starting to ease into this posture, elbows coming down. And see if we can flex the toes up towards the sky. So you want to try and have the knees rotate outwards, keeping a lengthening in the spine, and already starting to feel it here, possibly in the inside of the thighs. So here we're working with the hamstring muscles. It's all connected to the hips and the lower back. So even though we're not focusedly opening out the hip, the release of these inside of the hamstring muscles really open out the hip. It's just 1.5 minutes left here. And you can go deeper at any point if you wish, but just trying to find that stillness, find that ease. Again, taking deep breaths in. And deep breaths out. as we find a little bit more softening into those muscles. Option to go deeper if you wish. Maybe forehead rests onto your support, or maybe all props come away and you reach down towards the ground with the elbows or the hands. Taking an option that feels good for you here in your body in this moment for the next minute. Notice if you're holding tension. And then slowly, when you feel ready, you might want to stay here for a little bit more. We're going to come into Shavasana now, and if you wish to stay here for a little bit longer, please do. Otherwise, if you're feeling ready, press into the palms and slowly come to rise. Let's take hands just underneath the knees, draw them in towards one another, and just shuffle around towards the long edge. And I'm going to come to find Shavasana. I'm placing my bolster just underneath my knees. You can take your whole body down if you wish. Support your body as you need, maybe a blanket underneath the base of your spine or underneath your head. And then just allow the body to soften down. Palms spread wide, or hands onto the body if you wish. Taking any posture that feels good for you, but just now allow the body to come into this deep state of rest. And if you are still in that last active posture, taking all the time you wish and come into close with a Shavasana. Wherever you are, let's collectively take a deep breath in through the nose. And then part the lips to sigh the breath. Allow the body to be soft, allow the jaw to be soft. Allow the space between your eyebrows and around your temples just to soften. And taking as much time here, as much as the time allows for you to immerse yourself into this deep state of rest. Thanking your body for showing up for you today. And thank you for joining me on the mat. I'll see you again next time.